Where do I get my supply from now? It's a great question. I've had several people ask me this because they're like, wait a second, if you're a narcissist, you need supply, right? And it's interesting because inside of the and the diagnostic traits, there's places for supply aspects of like narcissists need validation, need admiration. Like this, like admiration is in the DSM-5. Okay. Nowhere does it talk about supply. Okay. That is a term that has been coined to try to explain what a narcissist is looking for: reaction, response, validation, admiration, all these different pieces. When we talk about supply, typically we're looking at a narcissist that is looking for a way to be able to control another person or a way to be able to prove that he's better than someone else. So like the supply could be, hey, I've got this eye candy. Now I look like a better person because I have this person by my side. Supply could also be getting in trouble. Like you come at the narcissist, he's like, yep, see, they're still obsessed with me. Supply could look like, hey, pushing your buttons till you actually react, till you actually respond. So just trying to give a little definition of supply and how we normally see it used just in the vernacular of narcissism and what that actually sounds like. And so when we bring it back to what is actually supply, you need to understand that there's a piece of it too, that everybody is looking and getting supply from somewhere. The difference is it actually toxic or is it positive? For instance, you might get supply, if we want to term it this way, by really encouraging someone and then being really thankful. You might get supply by getting someone that one gift that they absolutely love for Christmas, and you're like, that felt really amazing to see the joy on their face. So there's different pieces of it that we can flip the coin, that we can look at different aspects of there being good or bad supply, but being negative, positive, having ill intent, positive intent, things like that. The thing I want you to understand is this search for supply has to change from what it was. So like supply for me used to be other women, used to be other people, used to be other reactions, other responses, proving that I was better, like proving in my mind I'm a good person, like solidifying that so that I didn't feel bad about the things that I was doing. In order to work on that piece of supply, a couple things have to change. One thing that had to change was my honesty. Being really honest of like, wait a second, I'm looking to this person to validate me. I'm looking to this person to get admiration towards me versus me being able to say, hey, this is who I am. I don't need someone to validate. I don't need someone to give me admiration to further build up myself, to feel better about myself. So there's a piece of like learning how to reparent myself of saying, okay, that's not what I want to be able to work on me. Another piece that had to change was removing pieces of the ego. Because ego can be a positive thing if it's done in a healthy way, but for narcissists, it's this giant roadblock. It's the roadblock to love, it's the roadblock to connection, it's a roadblock to a lot of things because my ego is so big that that is more important than anything else. That is more important than being exposed, being vulnerable, being honest, right? So it all kind of ties together. So for me, ego and starting to work on breaking down my ego, breaking down the shame that I had in my life was absolutely important to be able to say, okay, how do I actually develop a positive supply? How do I actually develop a positive way to be able to connect? Then I move into this whole space of starting to work with people, starting to coach. I've met with over 2,500 people. We've got hundreds of people in some of our programs that are helping break them free from narcissistic abuse. And so sometimes people are like, is that supply? And there's a piece that I look at and I'm like, no, like there's not. There's the other aspect where I'm like, what's really cool and what's really amazing is when you see someone win. Like when you see someone come in that is broken and you see someone grow and change and develop and leave and they're like thriving. They're like growing, developing. They're like, hey, I've got this. And they actually do. Because they've already fielded the Hoovers. They've already moved aside from the toxic person. They've already said no to like a couple toxic dates, like all these kind of things. And you see them stand on their own 2 feet and not rely on me or anyone else. Like that's amazing. I mean, that's what's really cool. That's a piece of, hey, this is good. One of the things that I've been learning and understanding even over the past couple months has been supply can't come from me and honestly can't come from any other person on the planet. Supply for me actually comes from God. Understanding that being in his will is supply. Supply of, hey, I'm actually fulfilling what I've been called here to do. I've been avoiding it for many years. I've been running from it for many years. I've been in all of the shit for many years to try to avoid it. But in reality, now that I'm actually doing what I know I'm called to do, that is amazing. And that is a piece that I'm able to sit with every single day and say, hey, I can stand in that supply. I can stand in his abundance. I can stand in his grace to be able to say and proclaim the things that I need to say to the people out there to help liberate those that are trapped, to help liberate those that are stuck in the bondage and in the captivity of narcissistic abuse. So all this to say, there's a lot of different pieces that go into changing and morphing this piece of supply. Some of it comes back to the self-validation, being able to solidify, okay, this is who I know I am. I don't need someone to validate. I don't need someone to admire me. I don't need someone to do this. Part of this is sometimes pulling back and being almost like isolated from other people for a period of time so that I cut off that supply, almost like cutting off an addiction. Like cutting that off so like, okay, this isn't happening so that I don't go towards this person, or I don't interact this way, or I don't have these certain type of friends, whatever it might be. And so they're setting up checks and balances so I don't go towards that direction, so I don't become a person that I don't actually want to become. So when you ask the question, like, what is supply? Supply now is being able to actually see people win, seeing people actually grow, change, and develop. Supply is knowing that I can rest in the abundant goodness of God, saying, hey, I'm actually carrying out what he wants me to do on a day-to-day basis. Doesn't mean I fall under this umbrella of religion or I fit into a certain church service. What it means is I know I have a connection with him that's telling me and showing me on a day-to-day basis what needs to be said, what needs to be spoken, and how to be able to show up for the people that need the help. If you want that help today, or if you resonate with any of this, please reach out. Go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to help you move forward in your healing, growth, development, and changing who you are to help you be the person that you're called to be.